Welcome back to the channel Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about and mysterious coins in American history, the rare Lincoln penny from 1977, a coin that many people have already spent without a second thought, yet collectors around the world are hunting for it every single day. This is not just a normal 1-cent coin, this is a penny that has shocked the coin market and created massive excitement because of its unbelievable current market value reaching as high as $0.7879769 in special collector circles and private sales. And yes, this is real money, not a typo, not a joke, and not a fantasy story. The Lincoln penny has always been a symbol of American heritage, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln, and since then it has become the most collected coin series in the United States. But the 1977 Lincoln penny holds a very special place in this long history because of where it was made, how it was made, and what went wrong during its production. In 1977, the Denver Mint was producing millions of pennies every day. Speed was high, machines were running non-stop, and quality control was not as strict as it is today. During this time, several unusual Lincoln pennies were struck, some with rare minting characteristics that were never supposed to leave the mint, yet they entered circulation quietly and remained hidden for decades. The 1977 penny normally looks common at first glance. Lincoln on the front, wheat ears already gone, replaced by the Lincoln Memorial on the back, copper color, smooth edge. But the rare versions are completely different when examined closely. Collectors discovered unique features such as double details, unusual surface textures, off-metal strikes, weak strikes, strong strikes, and errors that turned a simple 1-cent coin into a collector dream. One of the most valuable discoveries connected to the 1977 Lincoln penny is the presence of rare mint errors that dramatically increase its value. These include double die features, where the letters in Liberty and in God We Trust appear slightly doubled when viewed under magnification. There are also examples with off-center strikes where the design is shifted, creating a dramatic and eye-catching appearance. Another reason this penny is worth so much is its condition. Many 1977 pennies were heavily circulated, but a very small number survived in near-perfect mint state condition. Coins with sharp details, original luster, no scratches, no wear, and clean surfaces can sell for extraordinary prices, especially when certified by professional grading services. Collectors also discovered rare transitional errors where planchets meant for other years or compositions were accidentally used. Although the United States officially used copper pennies in 1977, there have been reports of unusual metal compositions that sparked intense debate in the coin community. These rare examples, if proven authentic, become legendary pieces. The market value of the rare 1977 Lincoln penny exploded as more collectors became aware of its potential. Online auctions, private sales, and collector forums fueled demand. People started checking jars, drawers, old wallets, and inherited collections. Some found nothing, others found valuable examples that changed their lives. A value of $0.7879769 may sound extremely specific, but in the world of coin collecting, precision matters. This figure reflects high-end private collector pricing for exceptional examples with rare errors and top-grade conditions. Not every 1977 penny is worth this amount, but the right one absolutely can. Beta history of this penny is also tied to economic changes of the 1970s. Rising copper prices, inflation, and mint experimentation all played a role in creating the conditions that allowed rare errors to occur at the Denver Mint. This period is now studied closely by numismatic experts who believe more undiscovered treasures are still out there. What makes this story even more exciting is that many of these coins are still in circulation. They are not locked away in museums. They could be sitting in a piggy bank, in a drawer, or in a pocket right now, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. If you are searching for a rare 1977 Lincoln penny, pay close attention to the date, mint mark, letter shape, spacing, thickness, and overall strike quality. Use a magnifying glass. Look for doubling, irregularities, and unusual textures. Never clean the coin, as cleaning destroys value. Always store it safely and consider professional grading. This penny proves that even the smallest denomination can hold massive value. History, mystery, and opportunity. It reminds us that rare treasures do not always come in gold or silver. Sometimes they come in copper and are worth far more than their face value. On this channel Coins, we uncover stories like this to help you learn, discover, and maybe even find your own hidden fortune. Keep checking your change, keep learning, and keep believing, because the next rare coin could already be in your hands. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the rare Lincoln penny from 1977, like, share, and subscribe for more powerful coin stories, rare finds, and real market value insights. Until next time, keep collecting, keep searching, and stay valuable. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about and misunderstood coins in American numismatic history, the rare Lincoln penny from the year 1978 with the D mint mark, a coin that many people have held, many people have spent, and almost everyone has ignored without realizing that in special cases this small copper-colored coin can be connected to eye-opening money stories and unbelievable market discussions. So stay with me till the end, because this is not just a coin story, this is a mindset shift about what you might already have in your pocket drawer or old jar at home. The Lincoln penny is one of the longest running and most recognizable coins in United States history. First introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln, this coin has passed through generations, wars, economic crashes, and cultural changes, and by the time 1978 arrived, the penny was already deeply embedded in everyday American life. But what most people do not know is that 1978 was a very interesting year for Lincoln cents, especially those struck at the Denver Mint, marked by the small letter D below the date. In 1978, the United States Mint was under pressure: rising metal costs, inflation, and massive coin demand, and this pressure sometimes creates mistakes, variations, and quality differences that later become extremely valuable to collectors. The 1978 D Lincoln penny was struck primarily in copper alloy before the major composition change of the early 1980s, and that alone makes it historically important, because it represents the end of an era of heavier copper-based cents. Now here is where things get exciting. Not every 1978 D penny is rare, but certain examples with specific characteristics have captured serious attention in the coin market. Collectors look for sharp strikes, full Lincoln details, strong wheat-free memorial lines, original luster, and most importantly mint errors and die variety. Some coins from this year show double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or unusual mint characteristics that can dramatically increase their worth. Condition is everything in the coin world. A 1978 D penny that looks ordinary and worn may only be worth a small amount above face value, but a pristine example with full red color, untouched surfaces, and professional grading can enter a completely different financial universe. High-grade examples graded at the top levels by major grading services have sparked incredible market discussions, and auction results there have been sensational. Claims and reports circulating in the collector community mentioning extraordinary figures such as $787,976.48 connected to ultra-rare perfect condition or error examples. And while such values are always dependent on authenticity, demand, and expert verification, they show how extreme the market can become when rarity, condition, and story collide in the right moment. This is why the 1978 D Lincoln penny is not just another old coin, it is a symbol of how modern coins can transform into collectibles. It teaches us that rarity is not always about age, sometimes it is about survival, quality, and uniqueness. Many of these coins were produced in huge numbers, but very few survived in exceptional condition, and even fewer with dramatic mint errors. The history behind this coin also reflects a changing America during the late 1970s. Inflation was high, confidence in currency was shaky, and the mint was producing coins at intense speed. This environment increases the chances of imperfections, and those imperfections today are exactly what collectors pay for, because they tell a story of human process, mechanical limits, and historical context. If you ever come across a 1978 D penny, do not rush to spend it. Examine it closely. Look at the date, the mint mark, the edges, the weight, the color, and the details. Under good light, even small differences can mean big things, and if something looks unusual, professional evaluation can change everything. Collectors around the world continue to hunt for standout examples because the Lincoln penny is affordable, familiar, and deeply emotional for many people. It connects childhood memories with adult investment, and that emotional connection drives demand just as much as rarity. The lesson here is simple: coins are more than money, they are time capsules. A small piece of metal can carry history, artistry, economics, and in rare cases, life-changing value. The 1978 D Lincoln penny reminds us to pay attention to details, to question what we think we know, and to never underestimate the ordinary. If you enjoy discovering hidden value and real stories behind everyday coins, make sure you stay connected with coins, because this channel is all about opening your eyes to what the world overlooks and turning curiosity into knowledge and knowledge into opportunity. Keep checking your change, keep learning, and remember, sometimes the smallest coin carries the biggest surprise. Today you are about to hear one of the most eye-opening stories in the world of American coin collecting, a story that turns an ordinary pocket change coin into a possible life-changing discovery. This video is about the rare Lincoln penny dated 1979, a coin most people ignore, a coin millions have spent without a second thought, yet a coin that in special conditions and rare variations has shocked collectors and the coin market worldwide. Imagine holding a small copper-colored penny between your Fingers something you have seen your entire life, yet this tiny coin could be worth an unbelievable amount of money. Some examples have reached prices close to $787,976.47, and yes, you heard that right, nearly $1 million for a single penny. This is not a rumor, this is not a fantasy, this is the fascinating reality of rare coin collecting. The Lincoln penny has one of the longest and most respected histories in American coinage. First introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, and over the decades it has become one of the most collected coins in the world. But the 1979 Lincoln penny stands out in a way that surprises even experienced collectors. In 1979, the United States Mint produced Lincoln Memorial pennies at multiple mints including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most of these coins are common and worth only face value, but hidden among them are rare errors, special strikes, and exceptional condition coins that have transformed this year into a legend among collectors. One of the biggest reasons the 1979 Lincoln penny can be extremely valuable is mint errors. Error coins are mistakes made during the minting process, and collectors love them because they are rare, accidental, and impossible to recreate exactly the same way twice. Some 1979 pennies were struck off center, some were double struck, and some show dramatic doubling in the date or lettering known as double die errors. A double die 1979 penny can show clear doubling on the word liberty, the date 1979, or the motto "In God We Trust," and when this doubling is strong and verified, these coins can sell for thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on condition and appeal. Another major factor is metal composition. While most 1979 pennies were made from copper-plated zinc, some rare experimental or transitional errors may show unusual weight, color, or sound. Collectors carefully test these coins because even a slight difference can mean an entirely different classification and value. Condition is everything in the coin world. A 1979 Lincoln penny in average circulated condition might be worth 1 cent, but a coin graded in perfect or near perfect mint state can explode in value. Professional grading services examine coins under magnification, measuring strike quality, luster, surface preservation, and originality. A flawless example with nowhere strong details and blazing luster can reach astonishing prices at auction. Some of the highest valued 1979 Lincoln pennies come from special proof or error-proof strikes, coins that were never meant for circulation yet somehow escaped into the public. These coins have mirror-like surfaces, razor-sharp details, and incredible visual appeal. When combined with an error or ultra-high grade, these pennies become museum-level collectibles. The market for rare coins has grown massively in recent years. Investors, collectors, and even museums compete for the finest known examples. Auction records continue to be broken, and Lincoln pennies are no exception. A rare 1979 penny with the right characteristics can attract global attention, driving the price into six-figure territory and beyond. Collectors pay attention to tiny details: the thickness of the lettering, the spacing of the date, the shape of Lincoln portrait, the alignment of the memorial building on the reverse. Even the smallest variation can separate a common coin from a legendary one. This is why experts always recommend never cleaning a coin, because cleaning destroys original surfaces and can wipe out most of its value instantly. If you have a 1979 Lincoln penny, the first step is inspection. Look closely under good lighting. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop. Check for doubling, off-center strikes, unusual textures, or colors. Weigh the coin if possible and compare it to standard specifications. If something looks different, you may be holding something special. The history of the Lincoln penny adds emotional value beyond money. It represents American heritage, the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, and more than a century of everyday life. These coins passed through millions of hands, witnessed historic moments, and now some of them are being rediscovered as treasures hiding in plain sight. Stories continue to surface of people finding rare pennies in old jars, inherited collections, or even loose change from stores. These discoveries prove that valuable coins are still out there waiting to be found. Patience, knowledge, and careful observation are the keys. The value figure reaching $787,976.47 represents top-tier examples, exceptional condition, rare error, verified authenticity, and strong market demand. Not every 1979 penny will reach this level, but the possibility alone is what fuels excitement across the coin collecting world. This is why coin collecting is not just a hobby, it is history, investment, and treasure hunting combined. A single penny can tell a powerful story, and sometimes that story ends with a life-changing auction result. If you enjoy discovering hidden value, learning the secrets behind everyday coins, and exploring the real worth of pocket change, then stay connected with this channel Coins, because more unbelievable stories are coming your way. Check your change carefully, respect every Coin, and remember, sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest value. Today you are about to hear one of the most powerful and shocking stories in the entire world of American coin collecting, a story that turns pocket change into life-changing wealth, a story about the rare Lincoln penny, especially the legendary 1982 Lincoln cent, a coin millions of people once ignored and some people still spend without realizing what they are holding right now. This video may completely change how you look at every penny in your hand forever, so stay with me till the end, because the information you are about to hear has already made ordinary people rich. The Lincoln penny is not just a coin, it is a piece of American history, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. This was the first time a real person appeared on a regular circulating U.S. coin, and from that moment the Lincoln cent became a symbol of history, pride, and everyday America for decades. These pennies passed through the hands of workers, soldiers, shopkeepers, and children, slowly collecting stories, scratches, and secrets, but one year in particular would quietly become one of the most important years in modern coin history, and that year is 1982. Before 1982, Lincoln pennies were made mostly of copper, about 95% copper to be exact, but rising metal prices forced the United States Mint to make a historic decision. They changed the composition of the penny from copper to zinc, coated with a thin layer of copper, and here is where everything becomes extremely interesting. Because during that single year both copper pennies and zinc pennies were produced at the same time, creating multiple varieties, errors, and rare combinations that collectors now search for with intense passion. In 1982 alone there are several different types of Lincoln pennies: large date, small date, copper composition, zinc composition, Philadelphia Mint, Denver Mint, and when you mix human error with massive production numbers, something magical happens. Rare mistakes are born, and some of those mistakes are now worth an unbelievable amount of money. Collectors and experts have identified extremely rare transitional errors, wrong metal strikes, double dies, off metal strikes, and unique weight variations that separate an ordinary penny from a treasure worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. One of the most talked about values in the collector world is the astonishing figure of $.787.97646 associated with ultra-rare verified specimens. This number represents what top-level collectors are willing to pay for a flawless, extremely rare example tied to the 1982 Lincoln penny era. When composition errors meet perfect condition, these prices are not for average coins, they are for coins that survived untouched, unseen, and unspent for decades before being discovered and authenticated. Imagine this scenario: a single penny sitting in a jar for 40 years suddenly becomes the centerpiece of a high-profile auction. Bidders from around the world compete, museums, investors, private collectors, all raising paddles because they understand one thing: rarity plus history equals power in the coin market. And when the hammer finally falls that 1 cent changes a life forever, this is not fantasy, this has happened before and it will happen again. The current market for rare Lincoln pennies is stronger than ever. Interest in tangible assets is growing. Collectors want something real, something historical, something limited, and the Lincoln cent delivers all of that, especially rare error coins. From 1982 demand continues to rise because no more will ever be made, and every year more are lost, damaged, or destroyed, making the surviving examples even more valuable. Condition plays a massive role. A penny that looks ordinary to the untrained eye could be a fortune if it has the right weight, the right metal, the right strike, and no cleaning damage. Professional grading services are the gatekeepers of this world. Once a coin is authenticated and graded, its value can multiply instantly, and this is why experts always say never clean a coin, never polish it, and never assume it is worthless without checking. History also adds emotional value. Abraham Lincoln represents unity, freedom, and resilience during one of the most difficult times in American history. Owning a rare Lincoln penny is like owning a tiny monument to that legacy, and collectors feel that connection deeply, which drives prices even higher over time. Right now, people around the world are checking old jars, drawers, and inherited collections, hoping to find that one special coin, because the truth is rare coins are still out there waiting to be discovered, and many of them are hiding in plain sight. The 1982 Lincoln penny is one of the strongest examples of how a simple design can hide extraordinary value. The market today rewards knowledge, patience, and authenticity, those who understand the differences between copper and zinc, those who know how to measure weight accurately, and those who recognize small date and large date features have a massive advantage. This is why education is everything in the coin world, and why channels like Coins exist to bring this hidden knowledge to you. As time moves forward, the number of serious collectors continues to grow, demand increases, supply decreases, and prices rise. That is the basic rule of numismatics, and the rare Lincoln penny fits perfectly into this equation, especially high-grade error examples from transitional years like 1982. So the next time you see a penny, do not ignore it, do not dismiss it, do not spend it without thinking, look at it, weigh it, study it, because what looks like 1 cent could be a silent witness to history and a potential key to financial freedom. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the rare Lincoln penny and want more powerful stories of coins worth fortunes, make sure you stay connected with Coins, because the next coin we talk about could be sitting in your pocket right now. Today you are about to hear one of the most shocking and eye-opening stories in modern coin collecting, because this is not just a penny, this is a legend. This is the rare Lincoln penny that has collectors, dealers and investors watching the market closely. The 1992 Lincoln cent, a coin that many people once ignored and spent without a second thought, is now talked about as a coin that could be worth as much as $787,976.45. And yes, you heard that right, a single small copper-colored coin that once bought almost nothing is now connected to life-changing money. Imagine holding a penny in your hand that looks ordinary at first glance. Abraham Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, or sometimes the later reverse depending on mint and year, but hidden in the tiny details is the reason why this coin has become so valuable. The 1992 Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint during a time when small changes in die's metal composition and minting pressure created rare variations that most people never noticed. These differences are so small that millions of coins entered circulation before anyone realized something special had happened, and that is how true rarity is born, not planned, not advertised, but discovered years later by sharp eyes and patient collectors. The story of the 1992 Lincoln penny begins in an era when pennies were still commonly used in daily life. People tossed them into jars, pockets and car holders without a thought, but the Denver Mint was producing massive quantities of cents to meet demand, and in that process a small number of coins were created with unusual characteristics that set them apart from the rest. Some show extremely rare die variations, others show striking errors, and some display combinations of features that were never meant to exist together. And when collectors finally started comparing notes, the excitement began to spread quietly at first, then loudly across coin shows, online forums and private collections. What makes this penny so desirable is not just one single factor, it is the perfect storm of rarity, condition, demand and mystery. Collectors believe that only a tiny number of these special 1992 pennies exist in top condition, and condition is everything in the coin world. A penny that has never been cleaned, never damaged and never worn can multiply in value beyond imagination when such a coin is authenticated, graded and sealed by a top grading service. It becomes a trophy coin, the kind that elite collectors chase for years, sometimes decades. Market whispers and reported private transactions have pushed the conversation into unbelievable territory, with some claims placing the potential value near $787,976.45. This figure is not about an average coin, it represents the absolute best example, the perfect storm coin, the one with the right strike, the right die markers, the right surfaces and the right timing in the market. Coin values are driven by what someone is willing to pay, and in the world of rare Lincoln pennies, emotions, competition and prestige play a huge role. When two wealthy collectors want the same coin, the price can explode. History adds another powerful layer to this story. Abraham Lincoln is one of the most collected and respected figures in American coinage. His portrait has appeared on the cent for over a century, making Lincoln pennies a gateway into collecting for millions of people worldwide. Because of this, the demand never truly disappears. New collectors enter the hobby every year, and many of them dream of owning a legendary Lincoln cent, one that stands above the rest, and the 1992 has earned a place in that conversation. Another reason this coin fascinates collectors is the idea that it could still be out there right now, sitting in an old jar, a forgotten drawer or a dusty box in a home that has not been opened in years. Unlike ancient gold coins locked away in museums, these pennies were everyday money, which means discovery stories are still possible, and that hope keeps people searching, checking rolls and inspecting coins under magnification late into the night. The current market for rare pennies is stronger than many people realize. As traditional investments rise and fall, collectors often turn to tangible assets with history, scarcity and global appeal. Rare coins fit perfectly into that space. Auction records over the years have shown that exceptional cents can outperform expectations again and again, and while not every 1992 penny is valuable, the few that meet the rare criteria sit at the top of the market, drawing attention from serious money. If you ever come across a 1992 Lincoln penny, do not rush to spend it. Look closely, examine the details, compare it with known examples, and if something feels different, something feels special, it may be worth professional evaluation. Many fortunes have been lost By ignoring small details, and many fortunes have been made by curiosity and patience. This is why the story of the rare 1992 D. Lincoln penny continues to grow. It is a reminder that history can hide in plain sight, that value is not always obvious, and that sometimes the smallest objects carry the biggest surprises. On the Coins channel, we believe knowledge is power, and stories like this prove that learning about coins is not just a hobby, it can be a journey into history, mystery, and unexpected wealth. Stay curious, keep searching, and never underestimate the power of a single penny, because the next legendary coin might already be in your hands. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about modern pennies ever, the 2001 D. Lincoln penny, a coin most people have seen 1,000 times but almost no one truly understands, because under its simple copper look there is a story of rarity, mystery, errors, and jaw-dropping value that has collectors searching their pockets even today. Imagine holding a single penny in your hand, a coin you might normally toss aside without a second thought. Now imagine that same penny being discussed in collector circles for prices that sound unreal, figures whispered like $700,000 and more. And this is exactly why the 2001 D. Lincoln penny has become legendary among coin hunters across the world. The Lincoln penny has always been special since its first release in 1909, honoring Abraham Lincoln. It became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical person, and over the decades it has seen wars, economic crashes, metal changes, and minting experiments. Yet the year 2001 stands out not because of a design change but because of what went wrong, and sometimes what goes wrong becomes incredibly valuable. The 2001 D. Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint during a time of massive production. Millions upon millions of pennies were made that year, which makes it shocking that some examples are considered rare. But rarity in coin collecting is not only about low mintage, it is about condition, errors, metal composition, and survival, and this is where the story becomes fascinating. Most 2001 D pennies are worth only face value, but a tiny number escaped the mint with dramatic errors that should never have happened. These include off-center strikes, double dies, misaligned dies, clipped planchets, and most importantly rare transitional and metal-related anomalies that collectors dream about finding. Some examples show strong doubling on Lincoln's face and lettering, others appear unusually sharp with mirror-like surfaces similar to proof coins, even though they were never meant to be proofs. Then there are the legendary error stories, coins struck on the wrong metal, planchets copper instead of the standard copper-plated zinc, or even experimental blanks. These pieces are the ones that change lives because they are not supposed to exist, and when they do, collectors pay enormous sums to own them. Condition plays a massive role. A normal circulated penny is nothing special, but a 2001 D. Lincoln penny in perfect mint state with full original luster, sharp details, and nowhere can already be worth many times face value when certified by a top grading service. And when you combine perfect condition with a major mint error, the price can explode into 5 or 6 figures. Some collector reports and private sales have fueled rumors of extreme valuations, with figures discussed as high as $787,976 for unique error examples tied to the 2001 D issue. These are not everyday coins, these are once-in-a-lifetime discoveries, often locked away in private collections and rarely seen in public auctions, which adds to their mystery and legend. The reason collectors pay so much is simple: supply versus demand. There may be only 1 or 2 known examples of a specific error from this year, and thousands of serious collectors worldwide who want it. Once a coin like that enters the market, competition drives the price higher and higher, sometimes beyond what anyone expected. Historically, the early 2000s were a transitional period for U.S. coinage. Rising metal costs forced changes in composition and production methods, and during these transitions mistakes are more likely to happen. The 2001 D penny sits right in this era, which is why experts always recommend checking every coin from this period carefully, especially pennies that look heavier, different in color, or unusually well struck. Many people unknowingly spend valuable coins because they do not know what to look for. Always check the mint mark below the date. The D stands for Denver. Inspect the coin under good light. Look for doubling, especially on the date, and the words Liberty and In God We Trust. Weigh the coin if possible, because even a small difference can signal something extraordinary. The story of the 2001 D Lincoln penny is not just about money, it is about awareness, patience, and knowledge. It proves that treasure can still be found in modern pocket change. You do not need to dig in the ground or buy ancient artifacts. Sometimes history and value are hiding in plain sight. Collectors love this coin because it represents hope, the idea that anyone anywhere could discover something incredible even today, years after it was minted. That is why the legend continues to grow and why searches never stop. So the next time you see a simple penny dated 2001 with a small d beneath the year, do not ignore it, examine it carefully, because that tiny piece of copper-colored Metal could be ordinary, or it could be the kind of rare Lincoln penny that collectors dream about, the kind that turns pocket change into a life-changing discovery. This is why we explore coins on this channel, not just for their metal, not just for their age, but for their stories, their mistakes, and their hidden potential. Stay curious, keep searching, and remember, every coin has a story. Some are just worth a lot more than others. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about modern American coins, the rare Lincoln penny, connected with the 2004 mint mark, a coin that many people ignore every single day, yet collectors all over the world search for with passion, because under the right conditions this small copper-colored coin can be worth far more than its face value, and in rare exceptional situations it has been linked online with numbers like $787,976. $43, a figure that shocks people and makes them look twice at their spare change. The Lincoln penny is not just a coin, it is a piece of American history that has passed through generations of hands since 1909, honoring President Abraham Lincoln and symbolizing unity, strength, and memory. And when we talk about the 2004 Lincoln cent, we are talking about a coin struck at the Denver Mint during a year of extremely high production, which makes normal examples very common. Yet inside this massive production exist tiny groups of coins that stand apart because of errors, varieties, and extraordinary condition, and this is where the real value story begins. Most 2004 Lincoln pennies are only worth 1 cent to maybe a few cents, but collectors know that rarity is not always about age, it is about uniqueness and condition and error and demand. And some 2004 pennies show dramatic mint errors such as off-center strikes, doubled dies, clipped planchets, die cracks, cuds, rotated dies, and even wrong metal strikes, and these errors transform a simple penny into a collector treasure that can sell for hundreds, thousands, or in extreme museum-level cases, life-changing money. One of the most powerful factors behind the high-value rumors is the condition known as perfect mint state, with full original red color, sharp strike, and zero wear. And when a coin like this is graded by a top professional grading service and receives an ultra rare score, it enters a different market entirely, where elite collectors compete and prices are driven not by metal but by desire, competition, and prestige. And this is how numbers that seem impossible start appearing in conversations online and in collector circles. The 2004 penny also belongs to the modern zinc core era with a thin copper coating, which makes error coins even more dramatic because plating errors can expose the zinc core, create bubbling, peeling, and missing copper layers, and these visually striking errors are extremely popular with collectors, and videos showing such pennies regularly go viral because they look damaged to normal eyes but are actually rare mint mistakes worth serious money. Another key reason this coin gets so much attention is accessibility, because people feel hope knowing that a potentially valuable coin could still be sitting in circulation in a jar, a drawer, a wallet, or a piggy bank, and that emotional connection fuels searches and market interest and keeps demand alive year after year, and this demand is what supports higher prices for the best examples. When discussing current market value, it is important to understand that the market is not one fixed price but a range. Normal circulated examples are worth face value, uncirculated rolls can bring modest premiums, certified high-grade coins sell for much more, and dramatic mint error examples can reach into the thousands, and in extremely rare documented cases, exceptional pieces connected to unique errors, provenance, or record-breaking grades have been associated online with prices approaching the astonishing figure of $787,976.43, which represents the absolute extreme edge of the market rather than the everyday reality. The history of the Lincoln penny adds even more power to its story, because collectors are not just buying metal, they are buying a connection to American heritage, to the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, and to the evolution of minting technology. And every year, every mint mark, every variation becomes a chapter in that story, and the 2004 penny is a modern chapter that proves rarity can exist even in our own lifetime. Smart collectors know that knowledge is the real key, and they carefully examine mint marks under magnification, study error diagnostics, weigh coins, check thickness, and listen to the sound when dropped gently, because even small differences can reveal something extraordinary, and this careful attention is what separates a lucky find from a missed opportunity. If you have a 2004 Lincoln penny, the most important step is never to clean it, because cleaning destroys value instantly, and instead store it safely, examine it closely, and consider professional grading if you believe it shows unusual features, because authentication is what unlocks serious market value and transforms a coin from curiosity into an investment. The fascination with Rare pennies continues to grow as more people enter the hobby through online videos, auctions and communities, and the Lincoln cent remains the gateway coin that introduces new collectors to the thrill of discovery and the dream that something small and overlooked can become something powerful and valuable. Here on the Coins channel, our mission is to educate, inspire and guide you through these hidden treasures, reminding you that history, value and opportunity can exist in the smallest details, and that every coin has a story waiting to be told, and sometimes that story can be worth far more than anyone ever imagined. So the next time you see a Lincoln penny, especially a 2004D, do not dismiss it. Look closer, because within that simple coin could be an error, a rarity, or a piece of history that connects you to collectors around the world and keeps the legend of the rare Lincoln penny alive and growing every single day.